What's going on, everyone? And before we get into the tier list, I did want to mention that I do have memberships. I've had memberships for a little while now, and I haven't promoted it in a while. But yeah, if you do like my content and you do want to support me while also having a little bit of perks along with the membership, then do consider, as this is a great way to support me. It is $2.99 a month. You get these loyalty badges, which I think are pretty sick. I may have a bias though. You also get custom emotes for the people who join this, on top of shout outs at the end of my videos. If you stay long enough to the end of most of my videos, you'll see the list where you would put what your name would be. And then finally, we do have a gameplay review / coaching priority. If you get this will give you priority to allowing me to help you with gameplay reviews or coaching priorities, or even like a build thing, any type of thing related to Smite that I can help you with, as long as it's not too crazy, like taking over your account or something. Then I'll be sure to give you priority for this if you are a member. So if you'd like to support me, you like my videos, and you want to be a official member of the channel, please do consider this. This is, like I said, one of the best ways to support me. But with that out of the way, on to the tier list video. What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Assassin / Hybrid tier list for Ranked Joust Season 11. And very similar to all the other tier lists, if you already don't know, I'll say briefly. Splitting these up into each individual class: your Assassin / Hybrid, which we're doing today. Sorry, your Mage, your Hunter / ADC, and your tanks that involves your Warriors and your Guardians. I think it's just easier to split them up so you can have separate videos you like to watch instead of just one full-on 3-hour video to go through. And also allows me to go more in depth on certain gods, like gods that'll pop up more often than not. So like, for example, through here, Puch and Kuang actually show up here, and they'll show up in the Mage Burst tier list as well, or just the Mage tier list, whatever you want to call it, the Mage tier list. So again, this is your Assassin tier list, but it's also involves other gods that can kind of go that hybrid tanky-ish type route. But with that, let's get into this. I think I need to sneeze. Hold on. Okay. I sneezed. Let's get it. So, I think that's all I needed to say. So let's get into it. Up first, Puch. You can kind of go that hybrid type of, sort of, I mean, you can get into like a tablet breastplate of valor, and the amount of mana that you have from that with Book of Thoth, for example, can make you do so much damage while also being tanky. You can build a breastplate of determination and be even more tankier. I'm starting to get sick. Holy shit. And you can also build other items like Breastplate of Regrowth, which is another good item too that you can build on him. You can even build Gauntlet too. So I mean, you can build him sort of hybrid. I do think that it's kind of meh. I think you kind of want to go, if you're gonna go hybrid, you do want to go that Breastplate of Valor, and then maybe like a Breastplate of Regrowth, or vice versa. Could go Genji as well, seeing as you're throwing out abilities and have cooldown. But generally speaking, Puch is kind of that niche type of play if you want to do that for hybrid. I think better, generally speaking, you want to just go like the damage route with tablet and shit like that. As far as like conquest goes, I think he's a lot better in like the solo lane. So I'll bring him up to low B, because you can live a lot longer than you would and if you were to build just straight damage. Because like I said in my Mage tier list, if you didn't see that one, he's very easy to get, poked out, or not poked out, sorry, picked and like locked down, because he doesn't have any movement abilities, doesn't have any way to get out. And so having a little bit more defense is nice to have if you do want to have a little bit more survivability while also throwing out your abilities. Baubles is pretty good on him as well, throwing out shit like that too, with negative cooldowns basically is really good. Who would have thought? But I'd say he's like low B. That's being generous, in my opinion. Next up, we have Kuang. I think Kuang is really good as your hybrid compared to like your Mage build. I think he can go like Gauntlet, Berserker Shield, Shoguns, or even like a Talisman, and go into more burst items like Cyclopean Ring and E-Staff. And I think that build fucks. You have like almost max cooldown. I'm sorry, max attack speed with that build. You have a lot of burst damage. You're very tanky. You're kind of like that warrior-esque type of god, and I think that's where he really shines. You can mix and match a lot of items, as a lot of hybrid tanky type gods do, but I think he's a lot better this route. And again, his ult with his execute doesn't rely on power or anything. The setup is nice regardless, and as a hybrid built sort of tanky Kuang, you can kind of set up with your ult a lot easier than with if you're like a mage burst god. If you build him like a mage burst, because a lot of the times it's a lot harder to set up when you're one-shottable as an Kuang. So I definitely think he's definitely a lot better. Very solid pick in my opinion. Arachne, honestly, I think she's a little bit better than what she was when she was or in the last meta with the traditional gods. With items like Berserker Shoguns or even other items, she can overcap very easily with her 2 passive. She did get a little bit nerfed, I think, a little bit ago with her 2, but I think she can be very good. I mean, not very good. She's B. She's kind of just mid at the end of the day. But compared to what I'm trying to compare it to what she was, I think last tier list. I think I put her in C, I believe. But I think the way you build her is pretty much tanky. You have to build her tank. You can't build her full damage. It doesn't work on Arachne. You have to go somewhat hybrid. Have your team have setup, and then you can just walk up, auto, use your cocoon, and you can do a lot with her. She's not really high skill ceiling, but if you're a demon with her, she's kind of hard to deal with. Throwing out spiders and shit while being tanky hybrid isn't actually really good. You can also go, what's the item? Hold on one second, I gotta figure out the item. It'd be Vital Amplifier. This is the item I'm talking about. You build a Vital Amplifier on, you can have, with your 1, you can have all the attack speed in the world. Berserker Shoguns gets you basically that cap along with your 2. And then after that, you're basically tanky, and can build pretty much anything you want. You can even implement a Silver Branch, giving you even more damage with that auto attack cap, and you're pretty good with that. And I think that she's definitely a little bit better. Still a mid pick, but you know. All right, Awalix. Awalix is gonna be C here. She's basically your counter pick. Not very good as your solo tank. You're gonna have to build her type of a hybrid-esque. So going like Gauntlet and then going straight damage like Jotuns, Brawlers, or, you know, Serrated. Not in this order, obviously. I'm just thinking of items right now off the top of my head. Hydra's is really good on her. You can even go Runeforge on her, depending on, you know, how consistent you are with her CC, because it does proc her 2 and her 3. Not the greatest, but still an option. But she's really more of your counter picks towards like gods like Hoi or anything that has like a dash, or if you have a Bacchus on your team, for example, or somebody who has a knockup, she's basically that for that. Otherwise, she's not really that great. And you kind of build her hybrid, like having a Gauntlet. Axe Gauntlet is all the defense you're gonna need. Bakasura, I'm gonna put him in B, with the jungle being a lot better than what it was before. I think I put him in niche, but I think he's a lot better here too. On top of the god of items that got buffed or buffed for these type of gods that go auto attack based, Berserkers and Shoguns. Shoguns specifically, when they changed the cooldown to 10% increased attack speed, it makes gods like this a lot better. So you have all the attack speed in the world. You build breastplated regrowth, Berserkers, Shoguns, and then you go Kins, and you just smack. Late game, if you get activated honesty, you can do things. And then on top of that, since there's so much farm, you can steal buffs, eat buffs all the time, so your passive for your ults can always be up for the most part. So he's pretty good. With your 3, your Kins, ult, stuff like that, he can actually do a lot more on this map, especially against the tanks as well, because you're not worrying about getting one shot by like your squishies in the back line. Now, of course, you can still get locked down because Bakasura doesn't have all that much CC. You got maybe your beads that you're going to buy on them, and then like the CC immune ult for like a split second in his ult. But other than that, you know, he's kind of just mid at the end of the day. Not niche, he's a little bit better, but still pretty mid. You can do some things with him. Bastet, I'm going to put in S. I think Bastet's still pretty good. Not as good as she was in traditional team comp, because she can just backline them and do what the fuck she wants. However, she's gotten pretty good quality of life changes with her 1. I think she had something else, I can't remember, but she did get buffed. Not S+. I think I may have put her in S+ last, or close to it. I did change up the tier list though. I added S here instead of A+. but still think she's pretty good. Titan's Bane on her is going to be really good for your tanks as well. Very easy to, you know, get in and out. Now you can make an argument that she's A because the tanks can shut her down, and I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't be upset about that because I could definitely see her. She's definitely low S at the, in my opinion, borderline high A. But I still think she can still fuck up that back line because you're always going to have a back line in your team comps most likely. And she can still build Titan's Bane. Soul Eater got buffed, so she's a lot better with that. And I think just generally speaking, she's a very solid god. Super annoying. In and out. 3, 2, ult. I mean, super annoying. Camazotz has fallen a little bit. I think he's S. I don't think he's S+ anymore. Against the double squishy backline, disgusting. Against tanks, not so great. Even if you buy Titan's Bane, which you really should against like your double frontline, against double frontline, he still doesn't do what he does against the other team comp. So I'm actually bringing him down 1. And you'll see most of these gods actually aren't S+. But he's still pretty solid. You can still do a lot of things with him. You can still kill tanks. It's just going to take a little bit of a while to do so. If you're going to do it, you do need to have a guardian with you. But his slow and his 2, his 1 damage, his poking really is what you want to do with him. Very safe god as well, but just it kind of stalls out the game if you're going up against double tanks because he just doesn't really kill them that easily. S tier nonetheless though. Cleo, you're gonna put her. You have to play her really well. I'm gonna put her in D. I don't think she's good. You have to play her like picture perfect, especially against tanks. She just does fuck all the tanks. She had to kill the back line. You have to like use the walls strategically. She's pretty safe for the most part, but against double frontline, I just don't think she's all that great. She can just get CC'd to hell. She doesn't have any CC immunity, so she just kind of gets shut down by tanks, even with that safety aspect that I was talking about. So she's never going to get to the back line for the most part. She's a lot better against the double traditional back line, but we're not in that meta right now, so I don't think she's really good. Daji. I want to put her in B, but I think she is just C. I think you have to play her against specific team comps, specifically gods that don't have like CC immunity. I played a game against Trelly and he went Daji into, I picked Terra, and he went and picked Daji for the ult to basically just get me for free since I have no CC immunity. So she's kind of that niche god that plays into other gods that don't have CC immunity, or like, you know, that can kill gods like Thoth that she can just kind of stick to. So she's basically your niche type of counterplay. I want to put her in B because she still has that outplay potential of still burning beads and stuff like that. But other than those specific like counters and niche plays that you play with her, you have to have a team facilitated by her. Other than that, she's like super niche. Hold on, I'm gonna cough here. That's why I have the fucking grimmest face. Hold on. I'm actually glad that I'm doing this now because I am starting to get sick. But, you know, whatever. Get it over with before I have that fucking disgusting raspy voice. Anyways, Danza. I think I went over this in my ADC build. ADC tier list. I'm going to put Danza in that A+, and this is specifically for the hybrid build, nothing else. I think he's super solid. You would have to play this to where relying on Danza's damage, he does a fuck ton of damage even in this. But you do want to make sure you do have like a proper backline. You don't want to be triple tank, even though that still can work. You want to make sure like your Danza is kind of like your designated like warrior type tank where you do a lot of damage, not really set up or peel, just the damage, where you have like a mage in the back and you have like a guardian, for example. And that's really where this team, or where he thrives in. But either way, the tank Danza is really good in my opinion. I might be overhyping it, but I think he is super solid as a tank Danza. You go, obviously this is the cookie cutter stuff. You can do whatever you want really. You can go phalanx on him, berserkers, shoguns, talisman, gauntlet, other things like that. You can even go like what's the thing called? Spirit Robe. That's the one I'm thinking of. I almost had to look it up. Spirit Robe was pretty decent on him. Baubles would be a pretty solid pickup if you're building him like that. I'm not the greatest, but still an option. and then you build it like Kins and everything else, like Xe, Aussie, whatever you want, and you can kind of just do whatever you want to them because he's so tanky, does so much damage, you don't even need it. You just need proper setup and backline, and he kind of fucks as the hybrid Danza. So might be overhyping it, but I think it's really good. Erlang Shen, very good at the moment. He's not as good as he was maybe like a couple patches ago, but he's way better than what he once was. I used to think he was DC tier, super dog shit. He's really good. Runeforge pickup, very good. Procs on his tune, his ult, with Berserkers and all those items being pretty solid in the meta right now, even though there's been a little bit of a nerf with Phalanx and other items and other gods actually becoming up in the meta compared to your AA warriors. I think Erlang is pretty solid right now, especially as that hybrid assassin. I'm gonna put him as the pure tank as well for my tank tier list, and I think they're probably gonna fall around the same place. But Kins, Runeforge is really good on him, and then obviously Berserker's Talisman or Shogun's gonna be really good on him as well. Pretty cookie cutter stuff if you've seen Spirit Robe. Could even go Pridwin depending. But with nerfs to like Execution or stuff like that, with its upgraded glyph and Venom Dexy, he's just not going to be as good as he once was. He would be an S, almost S plus tier, but because of the change, like I said, to that, on top of other gods becoming better, he kind of just allows him to fall a little bit into that A tier, I think. Fenrir, I'm going to be honest, I think he's mid. As much as I love playing the Fenrir, he's kind of fucking mid. I don't know what happened, really. I think maybe just other gods got better and he just got worse. It really just stemmed off from what initially happened to him a while back, which was his 2 change. When they changed all the power and stuff like that, they didn't change his 2, which means he got so much fucking power. Now, don't get me wrong, he does do a lot of damage with serrated shit like that, items, hype, Heartseeker, those items that he can really proc off of, while all the other items are like tank, like, Gauntlet, Glad Shield, Pridwin, Talisman. Those items like that are really good on him. But Guardians are really good in the meta, Warriors are really good in the meta. Tank Fenrir, not so great. He kind of feels mid right now. He just doesn't have a lot to offer, in my opinion. The ult is meh, whatever. I mean, you're gonna late game, that doesn't mean anything when you're gonna grab the tank, I guess, but like double tank it, it's just gonna stall out the game, and I don't think Fenrir gives that oomph that like other assassins or even hybrid gods would give. He's okay, you can make him work, but I think he's really just better for I think he's just better in the traditional team comps, on top of the fact that Fenrir just doesn't feel good right now. Hades is a little bit better. I'm gonna put him in C. Pretty niche still, but if you're gonna play Hades, you do want to make sure you play him hybrid. Specifically items like Gauntlet, and then I can't remember the lifesteal starter item, Vampiric Shroud, and then maybe like a Mantle of Discord, and like the rest damage like Bancroft's Talons, very good on him. Typhon's Fang, still a solid item, things like that, while also being tanky is how you're going to be able to survive while also doing a decent amount of damage. But even still, he's still super niche. I mean, you're still not going to be able to do as much damage compared to any other assassin, so like Cleo. But he definitely has more of an impact on a game than like a Cleo with the hybrid build, because at least you can ult and basically not die because you have so many protections in your ult. Recently got a buff too, I forgot to mention that, but still not the greatest, but definitely want to build him hybrid if you're going to play him. Hun Batz, I actually like him a lot. I think he is S tier. I think Hun Batz is a super solid. I might have a bias because I play with Hefe, who plays Hun Batz, and he can go pure damage, but really you want to go into that hybrid type of build. Going like a Relic Dagger and hold on, there's ambulance, one sec. Anyways, a Relic Dagger, specifically, I can't remember the one that gives you protections. It's the right one, not the left one. I can't remember the name, but Relic Dagger on him is really fucking good. Pair that with like a Spirit Robe or a Mantle of Discord, and like the rest damage, like a Trans Jotuns, Hydra's is really good on him. especially pair that with like a warrior that you do so much damage. And specifically with Relic Dagger, that makes him really good is that he always has blink. So blink, ult, and then you still have your jump up. You can use your monkey to TP, whatever shit like that, bait out stuff. And that's what I think really makes, and I think is a super sleeper pick. I think he literally has one of the best, if not the best, ults in the game. And that giant AoE that sets up so many things, gets beads and stuff like that. I've won games off of that by simply burning someone's beads via either the ult. Not me, I don't really play Hun Batz that much. But I've seen like either you burn beads off of like the enemy team, where now you have you can use your ult on them and they don't have beads to counter it. Or vice versa, you can get their beads via your ult, and then now, you know, your other teammate can come in and fuck them up without having to worry about their beads. So I think he's pretty much S tier because he has that utility and everything that you want. You can go hybrid on him, and I think that's really good, and you do a fuck ton of damage regardless. And I think he's super solid. Stone of Binding is really good on him as well. So certain things like that make him a really good like warrior-esque type of god with a fuck ton of CC and safety factor. So I've been fucking loving Hun Batz. That man might go from like C to S tier from last tier list. I don't remember. Chel, I don't remember why I put this one here. I think because you can go hybrid on her. You can go like Breastplate of Valor, Breastplate of Regrowth. You can go Genji's. Mantle Disgorge, Spirit Robe. You can even go Gauntlet technically. I wouldn't do that. But you have a lot of options to go like tanky-ish with Chel. Generally speaking, you want to build her with either Breastplate of Regrowth or Breastplate of Determination. I think Breastplate of Determination is probably the best item to build on her, and you can go Baubles with it too, which makes her even better. But nothing really changes, which is why I don't remember why I put this here. Chel is still going to be S tier, and regardless of the mage build, just going full damage, or with the hybrid type build, she's just super disgusting. Kali, I'm going to put her up into B tier. I think that's a little generous. I'm going to put her at C. I was thinking the late game, but you do have to get her online for late game. It's just a Kali thing that she does. She's not really good right now in either game modes, that being Conquest or Joust. And that's just strictly because she takes so long to get online. The items are good, but like I said, it takes for a while to get online. But once you get online, it doesn't matter who you are. She's just shredding you with her ult. And I think she's a little bit better against the double tank team comp, which is why I want to put her up a little bit more. But they do have a lot of CC, so you still can get CC raped, but you know, going up against like the squishies that just kind of one-shot you, even though you're in your ult, you can still, you know, you destroy them. So it's like, it's kind of a toss-up. But either way, she's really good at that late game level to just shred tanks, or if you got a double backline, you just shred them while you just don't die in your ult. So it really is a toss-up now I'm thinking about it. But I think either way, she's kind of just C tier. You don't want to ever really play her unless you're hoping for that late game, which you really shouldn't be. You shouldn't be hoping for the late game because it's not really a good playstyle to win games. Trust me. Lancelot. On to Lancelot. I'm going to put him in B. I kind of overhyped him a little bit last time. I just thought that Lancelot was a pretty solid warrior-esque type of guy. And I still think he is. He's just kind of mid. Compared to a lot of other warriors that are good right now, that kind of blow him out the water, which makes it to where that Lancelot, for example, this is a good example of like a god that hasn't really been touched, but because of other gods being a lot better, being like every single warrior, I think that he is a lot worse than them. So maybe I didn't overhype him during that meta where warriors were bad. If you remember that, Lancelot was definitely a better pick in my opinion, so I think I put him in A. But with a lot of the warriors out right now, I think they just kind of blow him out the water. So that does make him kind of mid, in my opinion. Loki, I'm going to put him in C as well. Loki, you got to facilitate. The one team combo I always talk about is the Afro-Geb combo. Basically just facilitating the Loki to do all the damage in the world. Other than that, he's pretty niche. Especially into a double tank team comp, you're not doing shit. Fuck all that. You got to get the backline. And good luck getting the backline because... you ult the backline, and then now your tanks are on you because or now the enemy tanks are on you because I mean you can't do anything. I mean, against the double backline you could do more because it's two backliners, so you can kind of like one shot them if you could, although I think building him hybrid is better. That just kind of delays your damage anyways, so it kind of makes you even worse with a double tank team comp. So it's kind of bad. You want to make sure you pick him up only in specific team comps like that to facilitate his damage. Maman, God, this god, so annoying, but she's bad. Like, do I want to put her in D? I think I do. I don't think Maman's good at all. I think Maman has one of the worst win rates too. Let's actually check that real quick. Win rate. Yeah, Maman has a 40% win rate. Jesus Christ. She's super bad right now. She just doesn't do anything. I mean, they nerfed her a little bit ago, which made it even worse to where like you can't you're not knockup immune, I think, in her one anymore or something of that sort. She's basically there just to kill the backline. Other than that, she doesn't do anything. She's a CC immune ult, which is nice, but other than that, like, she kind of just gets destroyed by your front line. She just can't do anything. She blinks in to try to kill the backline. What are you gonna? You gotta 100 to 0 them within like matter of seconds before your backline just destroys you, and then you're just fucked because you can't do anything. So I think she's super bad right now. Tank Merc, I think will always be pretty solid. He has a lot of setup with his ult and his 3. Pretty decent damage once you start scaling, getting like the Gauntlet, Berserker, Shoguns, or, you know, just going Gauntlet and then straight into damage, or going Gauntlet, Talisman into damage. You know, things like that. Serrated Edge is pretty good on him. Attack speed items, all that sort you can do with him. I think he's pretty solid as the hybrid type of tank Mercury. I think he'll always be like your sort of mid type of assassin, but compared to all these other assassins that we're doing here, he's definitely a lot better. So yeah, I'll put him in that B tier. Has a lot of potential, but you do have to play him with a pretty solid team. Otherwise, you don't want to pick Merc into that in like the solo queues or anything like that. And if you do, then he's like D. That Merc will be in B. Nezha, not really any surprise here. Nezha is the best, I think one of the best top 3 gods still in ranked Joust. Now, as your elo goes up, the worse he gets. But generally speaking, Nezha just has the best setup in the game. You're just freezing there for 3 with your 3. You're just staying there if you don't have beads. Great beads burn. Ult is one of the best setups in the world for any type of god. And so you basically just ult them, and then they plop down. They can't use Aegis or beads or anything. Or they could use beads, but you're already up in the air, so it's too late. You can't do anything. And then, so it's just like super great setup. Not much else needs to be said like that. Obviously, you build him tank, and he does a fuck ton of damage along with being tanky. And then building things like Runeforge and then CAD Club, if you wanted to be selfish, you can do even more setup damage and stuff like that. Pridwin's really good on him. You can kind of one-shot squishies too if you didn't, even if your backline didn't help you. So super good. Nemesis, I think, is pretty mid right now. She was a lot better when there was the traditional team comp, and that's just because she could chunk with her too. Now it has trouble for her to getting in that backline and using her too. But when she does, it does a lot of damage. So you have to have a team to facilitate that, like almost every other god here. You do have to have a really good, or not here, but like in these tier lists down below, you have to have a set of team that would helps you get to that backline. Or at the very least, you have to play really well, you know, like ulting somebody for like the Erendite proc to get to the backline. Specific gods too, as other gods with a lot of CC can definitely punish her as her 3. You won't get the proc of the health if you get hard CC'd. So right now, I think Nemesis is kind of that mid spot. Pele, I don't think is good at all. She doesn't kill any of the tanks. Well, good luck getting the backline. If she ends up getting the backline, that's honestly your guys' fault. She shouldn't ever. You should be able to just CC chain her in Infinity and kill her with a Warrior Guardian. Unless the Pele is playing out of her mind, or you just are positioning bad, or maybe she just caught you off guard, then she really shouldn't be able to do anything to you. So she's in the D tier. Ratatoska. I think Rat's pretty solid. You have to build him tanky though, but not solid A, but like mid B. A lot of these assassins I'm starting to realize are not that great right now. Ratatosker, you have to build him hybrid. Going Glad Shield, You know, blink 3ing. You know, you can go Gauntlet, Glad, Jotuns, stuff like that. Hydra is really good. And then obviously you could go either like the Evergreen Acorn that gives you health, I think, or the gray one that gives you 2 procs of your 2 that gives you Prot Shred, which is pretty good into this double tank team comp. So you can protection shred a lot of your tanks, which is pretty nice, especially having 2 procs of those would be pretty nice. But he still, you know, can still get shut down. Still has trouble against the double tanks, and then the big thing is your setup with your ult. But you're nearly never gonna kill your the tanks. You want to be tanky enough to where you get, you know, you don't get one shot, but also you want to do enough damage to kind of kill that backline and kill tanks as well, which kind of impedes you a little bit in my opinion. As the rat, you can honestly go Runeforge on them too. You proc it pretty well with your 3 and your ult. But other than that, you know, other items would be pretty good. Like I said earlier, Gauntlet, Glad, other things like that. Ravana, I think Ravana is actually really solid in this meta right now. I mean, one thing that I've been seeing is the fucking Soul Eater in Ravana, and he heals so goddamn much, it's annoying. I ran up against a couple of Ravanas, and Ravana's pretty good right now. I think, obviously, the mitigation build that you can go with him is really good. Prophetic Cloak, you can stack that really easily. Glad, Shield, Soul Eater, and those items there just fuck so much. You're so tanky with Warrior's Axe on top of that too. And then you can go even more damage items like Serrated, or if you want to be even tankier, you could go any items like Relic Dagger, Mantle of Discord. I'm trying to think of the other one. Spirit Robe, I always forget that one. So you could do that, and he's super safe with his ult and his 2, and he kind of just destroys. It can be your... he was a warrior at one point, so he's basically just a warrior, and that's why he's really good right now. Serqet's also going to be in that top A, borderline S. Serqet is another god that can go pretty tanky with her 2. She's very... a lot of setup potential with her 2 and her ult. As you'll know, her 1 and her 3 are like the easiest escape buttons in the game. So you just run away for free. You can catch up to them, and she's really good. A lot of setup. Has a lot of anti-healing built-in kit, and she's really good in that double. She can basically act as a warrior. So these gods, like these gods that can kind of go like hybrid, has a decent amount of CC, or just are really good as that tanky warrior type of bruiser build, are going to be obviously a lot better into these team comps. And so, you know, building items on Serqet, like Warrior's Axe, Gauntlet, Glad Shield. She does proc Glad Shield a lot, and Runeforge is obviously really good. And then, you know, Pridwin, just to make you even more tanky. Relic Dagger is going to be good on them too, being able to blink in while also being tanky with the right side of Relic Dagger, the upgraded version of it. I can't remember what it is. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. Eldritch Dagger. There it is. Eldritch Dagger. But yeah, I think Serqet is borderline S in my opinion. Set, I'm going to honestly put in B. I don't think he does good against tanks. Now, some people may disagree, but I think Set really shines against those squishy backliners. I think he was a lot better back in the day, and that's basically why he was better, was because he can kill the squishies. He one-shot squishies. Even if you build like a Prophetic Cloak and then rest damage, you still one-shot. But tanks... especially with Set, you have to buy bubble or you have to have beads because he doesn't have CC immunity, and with the amount of CC, amount of damage warriors and guardians do, while the backline is precasting on you, it kind of sucks. So Set kind of gets shut down. Soul Eater's pretty good on him now, but and that's just basically the meta. The meta kind of dictates most of everything, so he's kind of mid. You can still do things with him. Don't get me wrong, you can still do things with him, but he's just not that great right now. Not the best. Talking about someone who's climbed the meta, I think Sun Wukong is that hybrid, you know, Runeforge, Glad Shield, Genji's, Gauntlet if you want to build that earlier, and then, you know, if you want to, because you're going against a lot of tanks, you can go Titan's Bane, Heartseeker, and that build fucking slaps as your hybrid type of assassin build with Sun Wukong. I think this is the better build with him. And then Bluestone or Warrior's Axe would be really good on him as well. But going like 3 or 4 items tank, or and then the other items being damage, or you can do half and half, 3 tank items, 3 damage items. I think that's really good on him. And we've been seeing him really well with the Runeforge. Runeforge in this 3, being able to do more damage on top of like Titan's Bane or Heartseeker. While with Glad Shield too, you can be tankier too if you don't want like the Rune Forge, Titan's Bane, Heartseeker. You get rid of one of those items to be a little bit tankier. But you know, you Tiger someone with your Rune Forge, you do more damage with your Glad Shield, either your Bluestone or your Warrior's Axe, whichever one you get. I would prefer Warrior's Axe. And then you can go, I don't know if I said Heartseeker. You go either Heartseeker and or Titan's Bane. You do so much damage. It's actually insane how much some Wukongs just come in the meta just because of Rune Forge. I think Rune Forge is, outside of the Envenom XC glyph, I think Rune Forge has the best glyph. So he's going to be in that S, borderline S plus in my opinion. Not enough to ban him, but enough to where you're like, fuck, if you see something Wukong, it's like, fuck. He's just so safe too. I mean, you ult and then you just leave. Or if you want to go back in, you just do more damage and then you just run away and you're 3 and you can knock people up. You have beads still if you wanted to, blink. So he's super safe while also doing so much damage to not only the backline, but to your tanks as well. So I think he's definitely way better in this meta. Susano, I don't think Susano is that great. I think he's probably niche. You gotta make him work with a certain team comp. One team comp that I really like with him that really fucks like low elos is the Susano, Poseidon, and Athena. Basically, you use your 2 to knock them up to you, and then when they get closer to you, you Poseidon pool, and then you ult them, and then they just die. Or Athena taunt into Poseidon pool ult, and so you certain things like that. Very similar to what this category is, that being a niche category. Susano definitely fits in that, and I don't think he's really that good otherwise. Thana, very similar. He can kind of go like the Breastplate of Regrowth and Gauntlet, but not really much change with him. I mean, I think he was maybe a tad bit better against the squishy team comp, but like traditional team comp, I mean. I think he's like a little bit worse into the tank team comp, and you can argue that all day because, for example, Thanatos ult would be a lot better killing tanks because it just relies on the % threshold, whereas it wouldn't matter as much for the squishies and stuff like that. And on top of that, squishy traditional backlines are going to buy Aegis and beads and shit like that, so they're more likely to just Aegis your ult, whereas like Guardians wouldn't. But, being able to get that damage down to where you can ult the tanks can be a little bit harder. So, I mean, there's so many things you can like think about. So not really much has changed with him. I will say that he's got nerfed, so he's not that great for Conquest, which means obviously he's going to trickle down. If he's going to get like 2 to 3 nerfs in a row, it's going to make Thanatos even worse. So I think he just stays in that niche category. You can kind of make him work, but you just gotta, that'll be a player diff type thing. Not really a god diff. Thor, I think, is your other S tier god. I don't think he's S plus quite, but he definitely is one of your better gods. He's always just gonna be really good, especially with Runeforge being really good on him. You 2-1 somebody, especially the backline or even tank early game, you just half hit them. So I mean, you can do any type of build with him. You can go Axe Gauntlet, Glad Shield Genjis, and then like rest damage like Serrated Heartseeker or some shit. Or you can do a build that I like, for example, where you go Axe Gauntlet, Runeforge, and then you just go rest damage like Jotuns for your cooldown. You can even go Pridwin. Glad Shield would be good after like your Runeforge if you want to be a little bit tankier, and then rest damage like Serrated, Heartseeker, even Hydras, because you do a lot of auto attack cancels with Thor. So I think that'd be very good as well. But super good. Able to get out of positions really easy with your ult, for example, or you can one out. He does require a little bit more skill. He's a little bit harder of the skill shots. If you miss your 2, very similar to like Anubis, for example, it's kind of hard to naked hit somebody with your 1 unless you're just a G. There's a lot of intricate nuances with how you play Thor. So even if you can play Thor like most people can, playing him at a high level and knowing those instances when to use abilities is going to be really high value when playing him. For example, there's like the combo where you ult dunk somebody and you basically just use your 1, 2, 3 to get off that combo and just basically one-shot somebody, and you implement auto cancels in between them. But you don't do that every time. For example, if you use that combo against somebody who has beads and you use your 1, 2, 3, well, now you don't have your 1-up and you just use your ult. So you actually are in a really bad position right now. where like the Guardian can stun you after like the back line already beads, and now you have no escape. And hopefully you have beads up maybe, but other than that, you're kind of in a little bit of a pickle. So there's like certain things you got to play with Thor. I think he's a little bit more high skill ceiling, even though his abilities are pretty simple. So I'll put him in S, not quite S plus, but definitely really good guy. Tsykuyomi, I'm gonna put him in mid. I think he's a little bit better, and that's just because of Rune Forge being a little bit better. He wasn't like the greatest at killing your squishies. He was all right, and you can kind of build him hybrid. Soul Eater's a little bit better. It's kind of just like an item diff, I think. The team comp, I don't think really changes much with him. He can kind of do whatever he does what he does against the Guardians and the traditional team comp. If I were to put my money on like where he's probably better against a traditional team comp, but not by much in my opinion. If you build him hybrid, I think he can do similar things to a warrior from a distance too. So, but other than that, I think he's just sort of like a middle of the road type god. Zhong Kui. This is the third time this man is here. The hybrid build on him I don't think is good. I think he's just pretty much niche, very similar to where he's standing at the other tier lists. He's just not that great. I think I put him in C and B in the other ones. We can actually just check that. Yeah, C for ADCs, and then B better for the mage. Obviously, if he's gonna build like a mage, I think he's a little bit better. But the hybrid build just, I mean, he's gotten buffs to where he's actually had more protections in his passive now. I think that was recent, and so it seems like he'd be a little bit better hybrid. But in my opinion, it's just more of a god diff currently in the meta, in my opinion. There are so many gods that can just kill him, displace him, and do whatever you want to this man, even if he is tanky as hell. Although depending on how you play him can make him really good. But generally speaking, Zhong Kui is just kind of a niche pick. You want to play in a specific team comp, very similar to the other placements he's in the other tier list. So this is your assassin / hybrid tier list. Jesus. But like I said, a lot of these are assassins. A lot of them can go hybrid. And I think, generally speaking, this is pretty accurate. I might, like, you know, for one or two of these picks, I might go up or down. Like, Erlang and Serqet might be, like, going up or down more. But generally speaking, a lot of the assassins that were, like, really fucking busted, just, you know, from last season, as you can see, from double tank meta to traditional meta, there's a lot of things that change. For example, like Camazotz. I might even bring him down at, like, A on a different day, but generally speaking, this is your general outlook. A lot of them have gone down, I will say. Nezha, the outlier, being Himington. That's basically all. Most assassins are I'd say most of your assassin / hybrid gods are going to be your lower tier. I mean, Jesus, you have Kuang, Danza, Erlang, Chel, Sun Wukong, who are high up here, but they're not technically assassins. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assassins up here. Most assassins are really not good right now. So, but that is your tier list for your assassins. If you have any questions, or you disagree, or you want to say something in the comment section, or even have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below. I haven't talked about my Discord. I always usually do at the end of my videos. But if you want to join the Discord, the Discord link is in the description down below if you want to join. Just ask questions, want to PM me, ask me, or ask for, what is it called? The gameplay reviews or any help on builds or anything like that. That's probably the best place to contact me. A lot of people in the Discord to find games, to chill out with, just to shoot the shit. We have a meme section in there, just to look at memes and stuff like that. So that's cool. But as the sirens are going off, you can hear that. I don't know if you can. There's sirens in the back. People are dying apparently. But yeah, if you have any questions, like I said earlier, you like the content, like, comment, and subscribe. But with that being said, that's all I have for you. So thank you guys for watching.